answered, "We worship the years to come, and we set the world in order for their coming, as one layeth raiment on the road before the advent of a king. And when those years shall come, they shall accept the worship of a race they knew not, and their people shall make their sacrifice to the years that follow them, who in their turn shall minister to the end." Then answered Snyrg, "Gods that shall recompense you not. Rather give us your prayers, and have our pleasures, the pleasures that we shall give you. And when your gods shall come, let them be wroth, they cannot punish you." But the people continued to sacrifice their labor to their gods, the years to come, making the world a place for gods to dwell in. And the Yozis cursed those gods, and sailed away. And Yah, the Lord of Malice, swore that when those years should come, they should see whether it were well for them to have snatched away the worship from 3 Yozis. And still the Yozis sailed, for they said, "It were better to be birds and have no air to fly in, than to be gods having neither prayers nor worship." But where sky met with ocean, the Yozis saw land again, and thither sailed. And there the Yozis saw men in strange old garments performing ancient rites in a land of many temples. And the Yozis called to the men as they performed their ancient rites, and said, "We be 3 gods well versed in the needs of men, to worship whom were to obtain instant joy." But the men said, "We have already gods." And Snyrg replied, "Ye too?" The men answered, "For we worship the things that have been, and all the years that were. Divinely have they helped us, therefore we give them worship that is their due." And the Yozis answered the people, "We be gods of the present, and return good things for worship." But the people answered, saying from the shore, "Our gods have given us already the good things, and we returned them the worship that is their due." And the Yozis set their faces to landward, and cursed all things that had been, and all the years that were, and sailed in their galleons away. A rocky shore in an inhuman land stood up against the sea. Thither the Yozis came, and found no man, but out of the dark from inland towards evening came a herd of great baboons, and chattered greatly when they saw the ships. Then spake Snyrg to them, "Have ye too a god?" And the baboons spat. Then said the Yozis, "We be seductive gods, having a particular remembrance for little prayers." But the baboons leered fiercely at the Yozis, and would have none of them for gods. One said that prayers hindered the eating of nuts, but Snyrg leaned forward and whispered, and the baboons went down upon their knees, and clasped their hands as men clasp, and chattered prayer, and said to one another that these were the gods of old, and gave the Yozis their worship, for Snyrg had whispered in their ears that if they would worship the Yozis, he would make them men. And the baboons arose from worshipping, smoother about the face and a little shorter in the arms, and went away and hid their bodies in clothing, and afterwards galloped away from the rocky shore, and went and herded with men. And men could not discern what they were, for their bodies were bodies of men, though their souls were still the souls of beasts, and their worship went to the Yozis, spirits of ill. And the lords of malice, hatred, and madness sailed back to their island in the sea, and sat upon the shore as gods sit, with right hand uplifted. And at evening foul prayers from the baboons gathered about them and infested the rocks. But in Pegāna the gods awoke with a start. End of While the Gods Slept,